Welcome to News with a View, hosted by me, John A. Costa. Today is November 11th, 2025. This is episode 157. It's going to be unscripted. I have just some reference notes here. For those that are first-time viewers, this is a conservative-leaning podcast, but I do use information from the liberal media up to the conservative media. I use facts, and then I inject my opinion using those facts. I don't always agree with the Republicans, and I don't always disagree with the Democrats. It's news with a view. But I will say this, as of late, Democrats, you are not making common sense. I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it badly. We'll jump right into today's topic. Will, of course, be the continued shutdown with the Senate resolution now going to see what the House does. The overall consensus is that it will pass. The reality here is the Democrats have lost so much of credibility and just the sheer numbers of people that they have hurt in their own ranks, just not going to help them in 2026, no matter how they try to spin. The shutdown was blamed by it's the Republicans' fault, and it really is not. The Democrats had agreed in the House to pass the big, beautiful bill. And in that big, beautiful bill, spelled out exactly what the plan was to curb spending and get a hold on how much money we're spending on health care in the Affordable Care Act. So the Democrats played a losing hand from the get-go. That it was a poker hand that all five cards were dealt up to both parties. Head-to-head poker. And the Democrats just kept going all in. Just, more and more and more and more. And you knew that they couldn't win. They were not going to win that hand. They had at least 2 months before the November 1st shutdown deadline happened to really sit down and hammer something out that was sensible, that made sense. And it just never happened. The Republicans said, hey, listen, this healthcare is not working. We have to, end it. Just put it out of its misery. And personally, I think the healthcare, and I've said this before in many of my podcasts, that the American public should have an option of going with private carrier or pay into Medicare and pick up a policy through Medicare, and where they could have that money deducted out of their paychecks weekly, and get Medicare benefits. Work it out. Figure it out. There's an easy way to do it. But if they don't want that, then they can go and buy in the marketplace healthcare. The biggest problem, and I said this before and I'll say it again, with the Affordable Care Act, it did give you healthcare, but at a tremendous cost. Now, those premiums were offset so that by us, the taxpayers, so that insurance companies could then look at the data after 3 or 4 years and come out with a number, like an actuary, to come out and say, yeah, this group, we know what the losses could be and what the costs would be, and we can start now tailoring premiums to them where they pay it without a big subsidy. Well, the only way most people could afford the Affordable Health Care Act was to go with a huge deductible. And what the people found out was that, let's say you went in for a test. You needed an MRI, you needed a CAT scan. Someone without insurance might only pay $600 or $700 for that. And that's what they would be charged. You went in there, they put your social security number. Oh, you have health care. All right. We charge your plan $6,000 for that. You have a $5,000 deductible, so you have to pay $5,000. And we'll build your insurance for the other $1,000. And the guy goes, hey, the guy just got it for, $600. I won't put it on my insurance. They go, no. Doesn't work that way. So the insurance companies made out. The diagnostic labs made out. And the consumer paid out. Not only did the consumer have to pay out, but we had to kick in for those added premiums. Which, again, even if they would go through a Medicare, buy into Medicare, there's going to have to be some type of strings attached where certain people are just not going to be able to afford it. Or, some type of sliding scale. But there is a solution out there. And it can be worked at. And yes, does it make government bigger? Yes. Yes, it does make government bigger. But the government has, in the past, and always from day one of our republic, accountability is a major issue. We need to have accountability. And with that is people that should be on it, can be on it, and those people that are not here, that are not citizens, that are not here documented correctly. Do we have to pay for that? And you have your Bernie Sanders that's saying, everyone should be able to get And of all the people, he was the only one that was truthful in saying on how he would have that paid for. I'm going to tax you. He would tax you. He would tax businesses. He would attack private industry. He would tax everyone to pay for that. At least he was truthful about it and didn't hold back, So, but the thing is, there's no accountability. And it just becomes a bucket where people can just stick their hands into and grab money. And we do need a Doge oversight on everything where money exits our government. Now we have the IRS to regulate the money coming in to our government. We need an agency, a real agency, that oversees money being pushed out, and that the money is used and goes to people that it's meant to go to. USAID's, what a joke that was. NGOs, non-government organizations, have just siphoned so much money out of the taxpayers' pockets that it's disgusting. And that is just not Democrats or socialists. That's Republicans in there too. Everyone got to belly up to the trough and eat. And it has to stop. It has to be regulated. It has to be managed. There are some good NGOs out there that are really helping people and are doing what they pledged to do. And there's other ones out there that are absolutely insane. Stacy, in Georgia, where they had billions of dollars going out the door to buy poor people new appliances. Well, the poor people didn't have houses. How are they buying new appliances? Government-sponsored Stacey Abrams. And she was in charge of that. And that money, who knows what happened with that money? A lot of questions with it. I'm not saying that she did anything wrong. I'm just saying that money went out the door. Show me where you spent it. I want accountability. And a lot of these states have these NGOs in them that are just phony baloney. Phony baloney. Maybe 10% or 12% of the money going into it is hitting the people, and the rest is being spent on, a nice building, cars, conferences. It's a joke. Just having my coffee. This is an early show today. It's 10:18 right now, and we've been on the air for 13 minutes. But what is going on in the Democratic Party now is the Democrats in the Senate that have broken ranks. Now, interesting that of the 8 Democrats that broke ranks, 2 are not running again for election, and the other 6 aren't up for election in 2026. They at least had the stones, the couillons, to step up and go, we're not letting the progressives dominate our party. And you had the progressives who were pushing Schumer and pushing Jeffries, which Jeffries is a progressive, and pushing Schumer that he couldn't make a deal. And his political future was on the line, and he knows AOC is coming after him big time, and he had to do something. And in his case, it was drink the poison or jump off the cliff. And he chose to drink the poison. And now it will be a slow, painful death for him politically. I still think that he would be able to beat an AOC just on his track record in the Senate. I don't particularly like his politics, but as I've said, and I've said this before about Schumer, he can read the room. He's like Trump. He can read the room and sees what he needs to see and hear, most importantly, what he needs to hear. And he can filter out the white noise and just go right to the heart of the matter. Whereas the Warrens, the Sanders, the Waters, they all are emotionally attached to an issue. And it's all right to be emotionally attached to an issue, but you have to have a reason, and you just can't let emotions guide you. Raskin is another one. He's a nut job. The opposite to all that is John Fetterman, who says, hey, this is how we have to do it. We shouldn't be taking that road. That road will not work. We know that. And it might work in a small instance. Take, for example, New York City elects a communist. And he has stated, he goes, well, if that's what New York City wants, but that should not be our model. We shouldn't now take that model and go, that should be everywhere, like Bernie Sanders. Should go across America. No, because that won't work. This is not a one-size-fits-all. And I think the Democrats now have said, you've heard us enough, progressives. You could have your James Carville saying that the Democrats are going to win in 2026. We're going to take everything back. Not going to happen. Stop listening to those people. Stop believing. You keep believing the lies put in front of you. November 5th, 2024 should have been the eye-opener for you. That, you guys didn't want to believe what you were seeing. Joe Biden, during his, hardly got any people going. Harris was even worse. And you go to and look at a Trump rally, and there were people there. And the media just refused to cover that and kept saying, Harris, hey, our polls indicate that Harris is going to take Texas. And you're looking and go, maybe if she had an army, and she has a good chance of taking Florida and Iowa, and you're just looking and you're going, the numbers just aren't there. Where are you getting these numbers from? And no one except certain media started going, what are you doing here? How are these people, and they were reputable pollsters, how are you arriving at these numbers? Well, we find out later that they were paid. Not to do any polling, just to come out with numbers that sounded good. Then we find out that protesters were the same protesters showing up at other rallies and finding out that, hold it, these guys are being paid. And you had paid protests. These weren't the American people being outraged, over a situation. These were people being planted there to fake a situation so that the politicians could have a fake cure for it. So it was the whole Democratic Party has the last 16, 20 years has been deceit. And moderate Democrats sitting there now are going, we can't continue this path. The media is changing, trying to get more to be centralists again. It never happens. The needle keeps moving, but not the way the needle was buried all the way to the left or buried all the way to the right. That doesn't make for a good situation. And you saw this. You see it. You hear it. Your Jimmy Kimmels, your Colberts. Their show isn't about having comedians on there and, little skits and stuff and, a musical band or whatever. Now it's just, hate Trump, hate the Republicans, hate this guy, hate the speaker, hate this person. Isn't he a turtle? Doesn't he talk like a turtle? And then, the minute you said, Obama said, hey, Obama said, and they go, hey, you're racist. And then everything became, if you didn't agree with him, you were a racist, or you were a homophobe, or you were prejudiced, or you were, you were uneducated. We heard this. And guess what? We're not standing for that anymore. And I personally would love to see Trump reinstate Doge after the midterms and just tear through every government agency. Now, is there misuse in government agencies? Yes. Is there overkill in government agencies? Of course. That's why they're there. Is there fraud? Yes. Is it systemic? Yes. It needs to be addressed and stopped. That's the first thing you need to do. Just like in a hospital, you come in there all hurt and everything, they're not going to try to fix you right then and there. They're just going to, in triage, stabilize you so you live to be repaired. That's what needs to be done in our government. It needs to go in there and be triaged. And you're not going to fix it right then and there on the table. Not going to happen. But you can stabilize it. And then you could start looking towards a fix. And the fix is not to hurt Americans that truly need help. The fix is making sure that the people that need help can get help. Not what we're seeing where people have filed and have 8 Medicare cards, state benefits in 8 different states, and they're from Kentucky. And hundreds of millions of dollars are floating out the door to nefarious organizations and people. And that money, if it's going out the door and no one is saying anything about it, well, let's recoup that, let's stop that, and give the people that need help that money. Instead of these NGOs and these other shady organizations that are getting money and not going towards where it needs to go. And you saw, what did Black Lives Matter get $1 billion? Most of it coming from companies that they were holding hostage. It was extortion. Jesse Jackson would be proud of them. So, Reverend Al would be proud of them. We're going to protest in front of your building until, you pay. Not you fix, you pay. So, no money, no peace. And I think America now is saying enough of that. And no more of that. And it just can't continue that way. I think your AOCs and your squad, you're not going to get rid of the squad because the state is just all full of these people. These radical, they came from a radical country. And they didn't come here willingly. They were resettled here. The Samoans were resettled here, and they put them in states like Maine and Minnesota. And then they put the other people, Dominicans, in Ohio. And they take states that were moderate liberals and just turn them blue, crazy blue. And California goes back and forth on their craziness, but California has doomed themselves. Newsom, anyone that thinks Newsom is going to make it through the primaries, just not going to happen. And now he's trying to distance himself, and this is what, we need to do. And he was behind all the shenanigans. Another guy that, we have to lock down and wear masks, and he's going to parties. And your Pelosi's. No, businesses have to be shut down. We can't have that. You gotta stay locked down. You gotta stay in your homes. You can't go out unless you need food. And she's at her hairdresser. And these people getting up there and saying the shot is the vaccine. Well, it's not a vaccine. It's a therapy. Perfectly tested. Perfectly safe. And now we're hearing stuff and seeing stuff. And no one wants to even go to the point and saying, could this have been from the COVID shot? No. You're a conspiracy nut. Well, that lid is off. People are now not afraid to speak up. And the people that were canceling people are now being canceled. Colbert, Kimmel, almost really at the tip of the door being pushed out. Colbert for sure. Kimmel, I don't see him being renewed whenever his contract comes up. The View, they get ratings, but even that, sponsors are going to start saying, it's not worth it. Put game shows back up. And that's going to happen too. And, these people will go down fighting and screaming that they're being, it's fascism. It's not. It's all about money. If it's anything, it's about capitalism, not fascism. These companies have to get a bang for their buck that are sponsoring these people and paying, millions. And these networks now are going to be asked by their shareholders, how much does The View cost compared to what it takes in? So your other shows and your primetime programming is carrying these outer room shows. Why? Why? Mostly if the viewership is going down, why are we spending this money? And it's going to be hard for these CEOs to go, well, it's a public service. It's not a public service. News is a public service. These shows aren't news. They're entertainment. Show me how this is making money. I think the questions will be asked by the investors. Could we have made more money by not having those shows and having something else in its place? I think that is going to be the safest bet for the networks to use to can these people to go. We love to have them. We enjoyed them. We laughed with them. We support them in their futures, but we also have to answer to our shareholders. That's it. That's it. They'll be done. And this is going to happen sooner than later. I think you're going to see a lot of these shows disappear after a huge win in 2026 by the Republicans, and they will win, believe me. There is just no way a fractured Democratic Party is going to win. And they're going to lose seats where they didn't think they were going to lose seats. And you could redistrict all the lines you want. It's not going to help. It is not going to help you. As a matter of fact, it can only hurt you. Because what will happen is you'll have people go in there and go, they want you, that neighborhood over there that is terrible. Now they moved it over to here line. That's going to move from over there over to you. I didn't like that. So, and you'll get someone, you're going to get more Republicans elected than you will Democrats. Democrats certainly have their share of their blue states that they'll never have to worry about. New York is not one of them. the governor of New York, who endorsed the communist, is going to have a hard time winning over the people of Nassau County, Suffolk County, Queens, Staten Island, Westchester, Albany, that it's a shithole. Rochester, it's Republican, but barely. And Buffalo, it's going to be very hard for the Democratic governor, Hochul. All the promises Mondami made, now they said buses can't be free. Can't be free. Subways can't be free. So the idea and the media just got behind these people and pushed and pushed and pushed, and the GOP couldn't be happier. They could not be happier having a poster child in New York City, the heart of our capitalistic makeup, being a socialist, communist Democrat. And going, that is what they want for America. That is what they want to take from this person and give it to that person. That's equity to them. Not that they have the right to start a business or anything. You have a business, they want to take it from you and give it to them. And effectively, that's what they're doing when they keep taxing you and giving that money away. Socialism only works until they run out of your money. And then it doesn't work anymore. And then capitalism goes back in there and rebuilds everything. And then the socialists come back in and they want to take that away. Wake up, America. Because that is their plan. You have Bernie Sanders, arm around him going, this is what should be going on throughout America. Yeah. Yeah. We must go out as Republicans in 2026 and just keep pushing our agenda and our ways. Sign up, people. Get them out of the Democrats. So that Democrats, they're going to take from you. And this is what happened with these Democrats in the Senate. They said, enough. Enough of this craziness. Enough of this nonsense. You're going to drag us all down. You're going to drag us all down. And how convenient that Nancy Pelosi leaves office, right? She's, I'm not going to run anymore. Now she's 80 zillion years old. And the only thing, she should be running for is her depends. But, and seeing who her husband is inviting into their home at 12 midnight. So she's gone. Warren should be gone. Warren is just, she's out there. Bernie Sanders should go. Waters should go. Green should go. They should all go. Their time has come and gone. And they're no longer relevant even in their party. And the moderate Democrats have to take over and regain their party, or they will be gone. They're well on the way of being gone. When The Democrats supported a candidate for Attorney General of Virginia who texted about jokingly shooting his opponent in his head twice and then going finding his children and killing them. How can they justify that? And you'll have people going, well, Donald Trump said he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and be elected. Yeah, he did say that. But he didn't say he would shoot Obama or shoot Joe Biden to accomplish that. He just said that he could shoot someone and not lose a vote. And this guy pointed at his opponent and his opponent's children, and he won. What does that say about the people of Virginia? What does that say about the Democrats who supported this guy? 2026, I can't wait for the commercials. I can't wait for the commercials. And I think they're going to be very visual, and the message is going to go out, and the Democrats are they're trying to scare people. No. You know what will scare the people? Will be the actual pictures, that these are actual pictures taken last week of these areas and what's going on. That's what's going to be scaring people and go, this is your Democrats at work. And I think that is the best bet the Republicans can do in 2026, is just point out the truth. Here's the truth. It's not racist. It's not prejudiced. It's not fear-mongering. We're showing you what the truth is. And if you want redistricting and you want this, that over there will now be your new neighborhood. Is that what you want? If that's what you want, vote that way. Go ahead. There's a lot going on. All right, I've been talking for 43 minutes here. I'm going to wrap this up by saying the Democrats are attempting to regain control of their party. It's a little too late. Maybe they can salvage some of it, but 2026 is lost to the Democrats. Any hope? This sealed their fate for 2026. 2028, hey, listen, anything can happen. But for now, I just can't see how you think you can reclaim seats. I just don't see it happening. And even with redistricting, I guarantee you that at the end of the day, in the House of Representatives, they pick up about 23 seats and at least 5 seats in the Senate. Yeah, I'll go out there right now and make that. If this was today, this is what, but if the election was today. And it's easy to say that, but Democrats, you're not doing a very good job. You're making it easy. Way too easy. Way too easy. You should have worked with the president. You should have swallowed your pride and worked with the president. So much could have been done, but you allowed the minority in your party, the progressives, to control you with fear of you losing your job. Where you held the key to your own locks, your own chains. You had the key to open it, and you still do. And that's by exposing these people with facts. AOC screaming for things, and then just go through her neighborhood, her district, and look at what's going on, and they go, this is the person that's telling you how she's going to correct everything. And she can't even correct her own neighborhoods. Go into Philadelphia. Go into East St. Louis. Go into Chicago. Go into LA. Go into areas in Atlanta. Go and see. And these people who their own waters, Pelosi, San Francisco, and see what they've done for their cities and their towns and their citizens. And that's what the GOP should do. And all they have to do is just show the truth. Have a quick little narrative and just show the truth. Let the left try to explain what's going on there. And if you can't fix your own house, why would I let you try to fix my house? All the crying over President Trump demolishing part of the White House to build a new ballroom and screaming, the history, and yet not a word out of you fuckers when they were tearing statues down. George Washington, when there was Christopher Columbus, where they were tearing them down. And you piece of shit Democrats were going, that's what's going to be in the commercials going up for Republicans. Stores being looted. People being injured on the streets. Police being told they're not allowed to police. Criminals and the judges who release them into the neighborhoods. District attorneys that won't charge people who put people back on the street. Those pictures are going to be used by the Republicans. And you're going to have to justify that, Democrats. And that will just be even worse for you. So, in saying that, at the end of all my shows, I ask that you think about giving to a charity of your choice. If you're uncomfortable giving to a charity, and I can certainly understand that, think about giving to a food bank. Buy one, get one free, do a couple of those, and you got a little box that you can give to a food bank. And you say, well, 5 cans, 10 cans, what's that going to do? To a person that has no cans, means a lot. Also, check with those organizations if they need coats. It's getting cold. It was 30. It actually snowed in South Carolina here last night. We had snow flurries. People need coats. Children need shoes, coats, bedwear, pajamas, underwear. The women need female things. All that. And you give it to an organization that makes sure that it gets to the right people. That's a wonderful thing. That's the community helping people in their community. No judgment. Oh, it's their own fault. Though they did this or they did that. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. But at the end of the day, they're human beings. And at the end of the day, those are children who had nothing to do with it. And, you know, you're going to deny that? No. No. So, think about that. That's all I'm asking you to do is think about it. And then if you say, yeah, I feel comfortable with it, do it. Say a prayer. Prayer does work, regardless of what any Democrat might tell you. And if you want to know why I preference it with that, shoot me a line and I'll tell you. And with that, I'm going to say thank you. Please, if you made it this far, subscribe, like, subscribe. Tell me I stink. I don't know what I'm talking about. Tell me whatever you'd like to tell me. It's all about an open discussion. You know, sometimes I do use a little blue language, and I don't like doing that because that shows that, you know, you couldn't think of another word. But sometimes you got to make a point. All right. With that, as I always do, I'm just going to go and fade to